Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello. Everybody, we have a very special guest near and dear to my heart, Gina Iovino. She is a nutrition coach, a neuro wellness coach as well. She works with veterans and does all kinds of amazing work out there. So I just want to welcome Gina. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this conversation.
Oh, absolutely. So let's start off with, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm a functional nutritionist and also, like Michael said, a neuro wellness coach. So it's not just fad diets and quick fixes, but it's actually learning a nutrition lifestyle for the rest of your life, and using that in ways that I know they say out there that food is medicine, but I like to say that actually food equals communication, because we could possibly eat the same thing, right? Some people are allergic to peanuts. I am not allergic to peanuts. So if I gave that to somebody, that actually wouldn't be medicine for that person. It could actually potentially have really have a lot of harm. So that's why I like to say that food equals communication. And so I love to help my clients find out what kind of food is going to communicate correctly with their body, so that way that they have more energy, they feel more vitality, and that they just feel better in their body, right? And then as a result, the positive thing is that the weight comes off. So.
Amen. So, I never thought about it that way. I've really never thought about that, peanuts or my wife's allergic to peanuts and walnuts. So I've never thought about, you think that's just nutrition and a good thing. And maybe sometimes it's not. It's a great point. Excellent. So I know you work with Project Refit. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Project Refit is near and dear to my heart. I have 3 brothers that are Marines. And so that's why I went into the volunteering service, because they serve their country. And so I wanted to do my part as a civilian to give service back. So I've been doing fundraising for a very long time now, probably close to 18 years. Recently, just with Project Refit over the last 2 years. And our mission is to combat isolation, whether it's online or offline. We do that in retreats. We have radio checks. So if you're listening and you're a veteran or first responder, we have radio checks every Monday and Friday. That means you can jump on and you can talk in a community where you're supported and you're heard. And so it's just fantastic. So I absolutely love it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for what you do with them. I know they have a whole big program that you work with, and that I see you on all the time doing stuff. So thank you, of course, for all of our veterans. So let me ask you, as far as nutrition in veterans and the families too, because everybody, is focused on the veterans. I talk a lot about how the families are the silent heroes as well, because when you're a veteran, everybody is affected in a sense. So give me a couple of ideas or thoughts that you have as far as how nutrition, fitness, and those kinds of things help with the mental aspects of isolation, like you brought up, and things like that.
Yes, and I love that you bring up this topic. And something that I'm also very passionate about is I trained under Dr. Daniel Amen, and I love his philosophy, which, he says, if you don't look, how do you know? Which means is if we don't look into the brain when our first responders and veterans are suffering from things like PTSD, TBI, how do we know what part of the brain is hurting unless we look? So I feel like it's the same thing too when it comes to nutrition and to fitness. Let's see first what is going on biologically, maybe with somebody, before we go into the other routes of medicines or SSRIs. I know there's psychedelics now, but sometimes what can happen is our gut is a beautiful, magnificent organ, and it starts from our mouth and it goes all the way down to our anus. So it's a very long, it's not just the stomach. People usually think the gut is just the stomach, and it's not. But in there is a community that lives inside there, and they make our dopamine, our serotonin. They help us with sleep, GABA, our immune system. So if we're not providing our body with the things that we need to fuel those neurotransmitters, well, then you could be feeling depressed. You could have a lot of extra anxiety on top of maybe what you already have going on there. So it's always a great way just to look inward first and see what we can do as far as nutrition of food. Maybe it's supplements and other holistic approaches towards healing and maintenance too on top of it.
So when you start to feel depressed or you start having those kinds of feelings, is there something you would suggest? Like, for me, of course, with neuroencoding, it's, get up, change your state, change some physical activity and so on. I'm sure you as well. I mean, you're part of the NEI, just like I am. Are there certain nutrients that you suggest? I mean, I'm not going to suggest go out and drink 18 gallons of coffee, to get up and get moving. But are there other nutrients or programs, things that you would bring up?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, if you're feeling that way, and sometimes, depression is okay. We can all experience that. So a little bit of depression is normal. I think when you should be concerned is when it becomes prolonged, or it's happening on a daily basis, or it's interrupting in the quality of your life in other areas. That's when you should start saying, hey, maybe I need to talk to somebody. I need to get some help. But one of the things that you can do nutritionally to support yourself is omegas, right? Or those omega-3s coming from our fish, salmon. That's a great way to do it. For my kids to get extra in, I get extra virgin cod liver oil that you can get organically cold pressed. And I use that instead of olive oil. I'll mix it in with my salad dressing. So that way we're all getting another boost of omegas that way, which is really good for you. So that's one of the things that I think we're very deficient. Another huge one is vitamin D. We don't realize, especially spending so much time indoors, how depleted we can get from vitamin D. So taking a quality vitamin D supplement can also help with that. Also, too, I love that you said change your state. A lot of times I even have my clients, even if they're not depressed, I just love for them every 60 to 90 minutes when they're working from home to get up and get out either of their house and just get out, take a break, breathe in fresh air. Don't bring the phone with them, actually look at the light in the sky. There was a great research that was done just in the impact that it had on people that were depressed, that if they just spent a lot of quality time out in nature, how much it actually lowered their rate of depression and made them feel better for being in touch with nature itself.
Absolutely. You bring up sunlight. Obviously, that your D3 as well, right? So
Yes,
yeah.
vitamin D is
So
great. Get it on your skin. It's the natural way of getting it in.
I've also heard a lot recently, and I kind of hear about it, then it goes away. But I'm hearing about and doing a lot of research now, actually, just about grounding when you're outside and getting that D3. Take your shoes off, put it in the grass. Just reconnect with nature, and it has a lot of benefits as well. Do you agree with that, or do you have any information?
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. And I know firsthand. I actually started a garden last year. One of my favorite things to do was in the morning when the kids were home during the summer. It was kind of like before we had breakfast. We all went outside to let the kids run around in their PJs. I tended to the garden, put my hands in the soil, same thing, no shoes, and just being able to have that time. And it really, it really does set you up for the rest of the day, just to kind of be out again, getting that sunlight in. And what we don't realize is that real sunlight, not the artificial that comes inside from the house, is when we're outside. Actually, we have mechanisms, and we are supposed to move and flow with the earth and the sun rising, the sun falling. So if we can get outside in that natural light, it will also tell us that, hey, it's like time to wake up, start waking up our system. And that way, that natural cortisol that we all have can start to rise, getting us ready for the day. And then that melatonin, when it's supposed to kick in, can kick in when it does at nighttime.
Amen. Circadian rhythm, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So as far as with the mental aspects of that and just feeling good, I mean, that alone it has, from my experience, is tremendous. You agree?
You're saying in the form of eating healthier foods compared to like ultra processed foods?
No, I was actually sorry. We had a little glitch there. Sorry
Oh,
about that, Gina. No, just getting outside, getting grounded, getting out in the sun, getting some movement, just really has some great mental benefits by itself.
and just breathing. Like, I mean, how
Oh,
many of you too, how many of us out there shallow breathe? Like, how many times are we really breathing and expanding and just, opening up our lungs? And a lot of us are hovered over. We're shallow breathing. We're constantly on our phone. I mean, I used to be guilty of it, and I try not to do it like anymore. But how many times do people wake up and right away they're like grabbing the phone like an instant, like I need that instant dopamine hit. And then normally what's on there, is judgment, comparison, and then what you're doing is then you're telling yourself already in the morning, like, I'm not good enough, or how come I don't have this done? Oh, I'm supposed to have the perfect morning. And so then you set yourself up for, sometimes going downhill instead of going up. And so being able to go outside, I think leaving the phone sets you up better for just some more personal self care for the rest of the day.
I love that. I truly do. So it's funny you bring that up about breathing. So I was just watching, I'm not going to get into who and what and all that stuff, but just about when you watch a baby breathe, when
Yeah.
there's no
Belly
stress or
breathing.
anything. What's
Hmm.
that?
I love it. Yeah, go ahead. Belly
Yeah.
breathing. I think that's
So
what you're
the
saying.
big belly breathing, not up in the chest. And when we're as adults and we get stressed out, it's all up in the chest and very shallow breathing, like you just mentioned. So I just literally was just working on this myself. Uh, just that belly breathing, which I've known for a long time, but when it put in perspective about the baby and the stress, it
Mhm.
connected something different. So it's really, really great you brought that up. So as far as nutrition, what are some of the just best nutritional foods, or I don't want to call them diets because I'm not a diet guy. I believe in changing relationship with food
Yeah.
so that it's consistent and sustainable. Because when you get into, and don't get me started, fad diets, they all are tools, but most aren't sustainable and not last. That's why they're fad diets, right? So, are there any specific? Let's start off with fad diets, and then we'll circle back to the good stuff. Are there any fad diets you generally suggest to stay away from?
Yeah,
Or
the cabbage
all of
soup diet. The cabbage soup diet, right? Normally the calories are very low. So yes, you might off the bat see weight loss, but a lot of times it's just that's inflammation, which is water. People don't realize is that when you have a high carbohydrate diet, you actually retain more water with a higher
it?
carbohydrate diet. So with that, you will see a lot of water weight that you're losing. And then what you're also doing is you're ruining. Everybody has a set thermostat for how many calories that their body loves to burn. Okay, this is your basal metabolic rate. And so when you do a diet like that, what happens over time is it kind of works, and then it starts to decrease. So you're actually ruining your metabolism. It decreases and decreases. So then when you go back to eating, let's say food where you're having more calories, that's why the weight comes back on, because you have, lowered your basal metabolic rate so low that now all the influx of calories is being packed on as weight. So I don't like that one. You know what? All those other ones though too, like keto, if you're vegan, vegetarian, all those diets do work for certain people. So I don't like to say that any one specific diet is right or it's wrong. Everybody, and that's why they all work, right? Something might work for me where it doesn't work for somebody else, and there's a lot of reasons why. First of all, usually it's because of the gut, what's going on there. Um, but I would say that's it. Another thing is the like Atkins. That's a great tool, but that's not something that you would want to do sustainably. Another one is even like with keto, they call it like the dirty keto. That's another one that you'll see everywhere where it's really high in fat, high in protein, high in cheese, and that's not really a true ketogenic diet. So I think that those are kind of like the couple that I would say for
Yeah,
fad diets. Like let's just not do it anymore.
yeah. And when keto, I think first started, I actually did kind of a keto thing before keto became a thing, and I didn't do all the cheeses and all of that stuff. Uh, so when I saw that start coming out, it was like, can that really be all that great for you? I understand good fats, good oils, that kind of stuff, but that just didn't seem like it was something that was going to be good long term.
Mhm.
Clean keto where you're still putting carbs in there with vegetables and those kinds of things, I think is great. But I had serious concerns when you said dirty keto. I was like,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So let's move it to a good diet. Like for me, for instance, what I found sustainable is literally getting rid of the boxes, getting rid of all the refined sugars and processed sugars and all of those things, and just got back to basics.
Hmm.
So that's what really changed the relationship with food for me. Are there tips or thoughts that you have on that?
Yeah. And I love that you said that. That's a great way to start or a great way to change your lifestyle. And I always tell people too is, start where you can.
Mm.
Okay. I know, and I think this is another reason why when people want to switch into a healthier lifestyle, while it doesn't over time work out, is because they try to cram all this information into a short amount of time that's not sustainable for their habits, their lifestyle with their kids, maybe their social circles. And so it becomes like a crash and burn situation. So start where you can. My philosophy is you are running a marathon of your life. And like I help people is just to get to that next mile marker. So whether you're going to walk, you're going to run, or you're just going to jog is up to you, but you have to decide what kind of a pace of a person you are, and then just take that information and those tools and apply them just to get to that next mile. And then once you can accomplish that behaviorally, then let's move on to concentrating on our focus for the next mile.
So that has to make it so much easier. I mean, everybody's
Yes.
like, okay, I want to drop 78 pounds in
Well,
3
yeah, I
weeks.
mean, because we see, right, we go on social media and as we're scrolling, we're seeing all this. People are only posing the after picture of like, oh, look at me. But like rarely you really get to see the daily struggle or the long months that it took to lose that 40 pounds and to lose it to where your body is also healthy. Because we all know that those fad crash diets can actually put you into disease, So, yeah. So, I think we always too, like we want a quick fix. We go to a doctor for a quick fix. We can watch anything we want on a quick fix. And so I think we tend to think that the weight, if we just drink water all day, that tomorrow 20 pounds will be gone. And that's, realistically, that's not how it works. So, yeah. Me too. Cheers. But yeah. So, yeah. So I would just say, do it slow because that's how you're going to make it sustainable. Mastering one thing at a time, whether you might say, you know what, I need to just get Pop out of the house. Like that's the one thing. Then just start with that one thing.
Yeah.
And then once it becomes easy and you're like, oh, okay, I can do this, I'm going to move to the second thing. Maybe we're not going to eat out 5 days a week. Now we're going to eat out 3 days a week. So now you've done something else. So,
I got to share something. Changing and drinking more water, number
mhm.
one. And for a salad without the dressing you get from the store. Susan's my wife. Anybody that doesn't know yet, she makes very simple. I mean, literally fresh squeezed orange juice and sometimes
Mhm.
a little honey, and that's not even necessary. It's one of my favorites now.
Yes.
It's just fantastic. So you can really simplify things. And how long does that take to make compared to, making some big, crazy, high fat with bad fats dressing? So
Mhm.
you can really simplify it. And I think that's what people are looking for a lot is I just want it fast, right? That's what we have become is I just want everything fast and easy and so on. And it can be
It can
just
be
one little
easier.
thing at a time.
And another thing when I work with clients is I really have to get a history because I have to understand their relationship with food. Sometimes with some people, there also is an addiction component to it,
Mm,
which for a lot of us, I can see why. A lot of the foods that are ultra processed inside of these stores are specifically chemically made to trigger that bliss point in your brain so you want more. One of the examples I like to give is, okay, I want you to sit down, eat 5 baked potatoes. Well, it's hard to eat 5 baked potatoes, but I bet you could sit down and eat a whole bag of chips like nothing and not even realize it. It's the same amount of food, but because the way that it's presented to your body, it's going to have a different effect on those hormones like ghrelin and leptin. So that's why we also want to take a look at the quality of the food coming in too as well. So and helping with that kind of a stuff. And I also need to see too, because if they are addicted to these things, I need to help them with their cravings, which means we need to change their palate over time using things like spices and other combinations of flavors, so that way they don't feel like they're missing out, because that's a big piece of it too, is people are used to things that are like really high salty or sweet, and so it's also helping them and taking them through that journey too as well, and helping them with a meal plan that kind of mimics what they've been eating to make the process a little bit easier too.
So thank you. That's great information. It truly is. And it just simplifies it. So you talk about getting them past it mentally, right? What are some tips and tricks? Are there certain things? I mean, when they do something, do you have them celebrate, pat themselves on the back? I mean, what are some little tips and tricks when they are successful, even if you're not around? Can you give people when they make those little switches of, hey, I didn't drink that soda, I drank that bottle of water?
Yeah, no, I love it. I do a thing I have them do what's called like an audit, okay? Where that's where they have to check in with their body, they have to check in with their movement, their self-care, and also relationships. So those are the 4 circles. I go in deeper with my clients about it, but I have them pause. If they're ready to jump in the pantry for a minute, I have them stop, right? And say, okay, let me address Gina's 4 circles. And I have them go through those 4 circles, because maybe their body is, like you said, maybe they haven't drank, in a couple of hours. They're actually dehydrated. They're not hungry. So maybe I got to do that first. And usually when they go through the circles, that also disassociates them from that immediate response of wanting to go grab for food or cravings. And they can actually address really what's going on. Maybe with some of them too, they just got off a phone call from work that was very stressful. So that's the stress trigger. So maybe instead of, again, grabbing for the food, we talk about, so what can you do in place of going for the food? Can we go outside? Can we go sit in another area? Can you go grab a tea and be comfortable and relax? So we kind of go through those things. And I always have them choose what it is that they would like to do, because ultimately I'm not going to be there to hold their hand. They have to do it themselves. And I want them to enjoy it when they do it as well. Right.
Yeah.
So that becomes, a habit. And then again, celebrating too. Like when we get on calls, I just had one of my clients, tell me that too, that, she saw a plate of food and she was able to say, no, like, I don't need that. So, being able to recognize when you're able to say no, look at yourself and be grateful for it. And like you said, we got to celebrate it.
We do. And hey, we're both Neuroencoding Institute graduates here. Joseph McClendon III would say, get up and shake your ass. Get some altitude, right?
Yeah.
And hey, when you do that, you're exercising too.
Yes. And get the kids involved. I always say that too. When you do something, you make good choices, like get the kids involved, spin them around, dance with your kids, pick them up, give them a hug and kiss, have that connection that way in your celebration as well.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I want to circle back to something you just mentioned, because you just went through 4 amazing things. No one saw. I did 5. I meant 4. So when you talk about hydration, and you talk about, you think you're hungry, but maybe you're just dehydrated, you need some water. It's something I found as well. So talk about how somebody might know the difference, or how to address that, if you will, please. I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, well, there could be a couple things. Like maybe you got to think about, what did I do the night before? Sometimes like with the holidays, we might go eat, traditional holiday dinners that are very high fat, salt, sugar. We're drinking, those kind of things. And then the next day when we're cranky and we just feel blah, maybe it's because of what we did the night before, or even up to 72 hours before that. So if you know offhand, like, you go out and you're having some drinks, well, maybe you got to know the next day, like, hey, maybe I should rehydrate with good foods and water so I can reset what I offset the day before. So that's one of the things. Another thing too is I always tell people just to try it. Like if you're sitting there and you're like, I think I'm hungry, well, maybe just try having a glass of water. If that curbs your hunger, then you're not hungry. If it's still there, then your body's telling you something. Listen to your body. we all have to be in tune to what, the feelings that we're having and that's coming up for us. And so, if you need to eat, then go ahead and address it. But
Yeah. And I
yeah.
found that a lot. I found exactly that tip is I'm hungry. Am I? Let me have some water. And all of a sudden, you know what? That was enough. And I get a little extra energy from hydrating. So
Hmm.
it works out well. So thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Hey, so a couple of things. I hear you have a free 5-day challenge.
I do.
I
Yes.
want you to talk about that a little bit, please.
Yes. Yes. I know we're moving into, so we kind of got out of the slump. Spring is here. And for a lot of people, I think what happens, we get into a routine, we get into a rut, we keep saying, oh, I'll start, Monday, or I'll start next month. This is the time that if you've been on the fence and you're like, I need a jump start because I do need to get healthy. I want to learn my body. I want to have more energy, and I just want to feel better. And I want to feel better at summer, when summer's coming. Jump in, join me. There's going to be other women inside of there. It's going to be free for 5 days to get that momentum and get the ball rolling. So that way you have a solid foundation so that you can either continue, even if it's not working with me, but at least you have a foundation where you can get started, and just to get yourself moving. Because sometimes we need that little kick in the rear, right? Just to get us going and to get us out of some of our comfortable habits that we kind of slip into, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's exciting. So, can you give me? Okay, can I ask for a little bit of a sneak peek? What is
Yeah.
it? It's 5 days. So, what do you kind of go through?
Well, we're going to be jumping in every day. And what I love too is that you don't have to worry about, making sure that you're there at the time that I go live, because everything will be recorded and it's going to be for you to go at your own pace. Because I know some people work, which is fine. And I'm also going to be there answering questions. So don't feel like if you didn't see something that I can't help you, I will be there. One of the things that we are going to go over nutrition basics. We have to know, right? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a fun little assignment that I call of us getting in the kitchen, because I feel like that's where all the magic and the love happens. So we're going to get reacquainted with our kitchen. We're going to go through some stuff, some spices. We might throw things out. We're going to do an audit of our cabinet. So that way we are set up for what we need, which is healthy to keep us going. So we're going to do that. We're also going to talk a little bit about understanding what those macros are and how we need to be eating those macros to live a healthy lifestyle. We're going to talk about scheduling, how you can make this a priority, a little bit about self-care. And then also too, I'm going to give you some great resources so that way you can start building what I call is like your recipe blueprint, which is going to help you later for all of that meal prepping. So that way, you're never sitting there going, oh God, what do I make? I don't know what to put on the table. So we're gonna help you with that too as well.
That's fantastic. So, I have to say, the last thing you touched base on is, I think, one of the hard. No, it's one of the easiest, but one of the things that sets you up for success more than anything else there is meal prepping, because how often, and I'm guilty of it, I think everybody is, right? When you don't know what you're going to have for dinner, you end up going for something easy.
Yes.
You go for crap.
Yes. Yeah.
Generally, I mean, unless you have nothing in your refrigerator or counter or cabinets, etc., which, amen, that's the way to go. But don't have the potato chips in there, then they're not an option, right? But
Yeah.
when you don't meal prep, and Susan and I do this all the time, it's like, okay, well, we didn't plan out this week's meals, and oh, hey, look what we had for dinner. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that is one of the key things for me for success. So that's awesome that you go through that.
Yeah. And I'm a mom. I know I have 5 kids. Everybody's in sports. Everyone's running around. So I know sometimes you need to have stuff on hand. And so I also show you too. There are better products out there that if you need them in a quick jam, I would rather have you do that and put it together. It's very fast. So in the time that you think, oh, I don't have something, I need to go drive, you can have it done. Like minimal ingredients, ready to go. Because I know we are all, short on time, or we have to get a meal to the table in 30 minutes because maybe we have to go pick up somebody from, their activity. So I go over that too as well. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
And I think when you have a plan and you have those tools in your tool belt, you can pull out a meal in 30 minutes.
Yes,
You
you
know,
can. And
yeah.
I like to make it enjoyable. Like I'm an Italian, we love food. I feel like we wouldn't have this palate if food wasn't supposed to taste beautiful and exciting. So let's celebrate food. I mean, really, we shouldn't, diminish would say not diminish it, but we want to celebrate food too as well. And so I really want to. My heart really is to get people back into the kitchen. I want you. Restaurants are fun and they're fine once in a while, but I would rather have you in the kitchen. Let's bring you back in the kitchen. Let's have fun with our families. Let's start conversations. Let's touch food. Let's see. You never know. You might be a culinary like chef deep down inside that was there, and maybe just needed the opportunity to release it.
I love it. I love it, Gina. I love it. And we'll be coming to your house soon for dinner.
Yeah.
So, what I'd like, if you can, we're over time now, but that's shocking. Can you give us, first of all, how do people reach you? How do they get involved in your free 5-day challenge?
Yes. You can reach me at Gina Iovino. I am on Facebook. I have a page there. You can get me there. And then when you do too, either under this live, I'll also make a posting too with the 5-day challenge. It's in there. It was in my story. You can just message me and say, hey, yeah, I'm interested. Wave at me, and I would be happy to send that information to you. I'm also at Instagram at Gina Will Show You. So you can also find me there too as well.
Fantastic. So if you can, I always throw people under the bus on this one. Before we go, 3 quick tips to get people further faster, especially veterans and veterans families. They need exercise. They need good nutrition. All those things. Everybody does, but of course, both of our passion is veterans. So let's bring this back to veterans and 3 tips for them.
Yes. And again, I want to say to all of them out there, thank you so much for your service, and especially our first responders that also too serve every single day inside of their communities to keep us very safe. So we love and support you all so much. And I would say for you guys getting started, the first thing to sit down is I would start with just addressing what it is that you want to accomplish. Like, and how are you feeling in those areas, again, that we talked about? How are you feeling about in the area of your body? How are you doing as far as movement and fitness, flexibility, self-care, and then your relationships? So take a look at that, because sometimes I'll find with clients that come in, before we really jump heavily into, nutrition, maybe they have to address their relationship first. Maybe that's really, really what's weighing them down, because sometimes when these circles are unbalanced, it pulls and weighs on other things. I did a course, so if anybody wants the course, they can grab it, but it's my 3-2-1 method. So it's 3 things that you should take out, 2 things that you should introduce, and 1 thing that you should be doing every day. So if you also want to start, I would say, I always tell people, if you cannot count the ingredients on 10 on your hands, put it back. 10 or more, leave it alone. Don't go for it. Start getting in that water in, because you don't realize how dehydrated we are, and just start moving. Start looking at your watch, counting your steps. That's an easy way to get started and get moving, and it'll keep you out of the kitchen and keep you active, and so many other great things for your brain too as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Absolute love all the tips and all the information. Thank you so much for being here. I say it every time, time is the most precious resource we have as humans. Thank you for spending time with us and our listeners.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've been fantastic. The last thing is up in the top right-hand corner, blue QR code, all kinds of resources for veterans and their families. We have free ebooks and all kinds of good stuff. Please reach out. Please use them. They're there for a reason. We want to support you. So, Gina, again, thank you so much. And I know we just barely scratched the surface. There's so many other cool things we could talk about. I'd love to have you back on.
I'd love to.
All right, fantastic. Thank you again. And everybody, we are out of here.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.